Hey y'all, it's your girl Queen Chill Mode, and I'm the host of the Perimeter Defense Basketball Podcast, where we talk all things basketball from the WNBA to the NBA to college basketball for both the ladies and the fellas, and of course, my favorite basketball team, the Chicago Bulls. And in today's episode of Perimeter Defense Basketball Podcast, we'll kick off our Draft Fit series for the Chicago Bulls, as well as spotlight several draft prospects for the upcoming NBA draft and how they may fit with the Chicago Bulls in the event that they get drafted by the Bulls. Our first player up for this discussion will be none other than South Carolina's own Collin Murray-Boyles, a 6'7", 239-pound forward with a 7-foot wingspan. CMB, he's a physical, mature, mentally tough forward with a throwback game. His numbers from last season while at South Carolina consisted of 16.8 points per game to go along with 8 assists, 8.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists on 58% shooting from the field, 70% shooting from free throw line, and 26% shooting from the three-point line. He averaged 1.3 blocks and 1.5 steals. An overview of this young man is pretty much a combo forward with a high skill level, great passing vision, scoring touch, outstanding defender, one of the best defensive prospects in this draft. Now let's get into a few strengths of what he will bring to the table. One of his main strengths, if not the calling card that would probably identify his game at this point, would be his defense and his defensive versatility. He can guard multiple positions, as evident by the 1.3 blocks and 1.5 steals per game that he averaged. He has great length and strength and can hold his own inside. He has excellent foot speed, to guard in spaces. Outstanding defender in isolation. He uses his footwork and strength to switch and hold ground defensively. Moves defenders off balance, and that can be attributed to the strength that he has. And he's mostly guarded threes, small forwards while in college, and more than likely will guard forwards at the NBA level. Another strength of CMB's game would be his playmaking. He has a good feel for the game, especially as a passer. He can find cutters and shooters from the high post or on the interior. That's where that throwback game comes in. For those of you who recall, there used to be a time where teams would play inside out. If you had a solid big who could pass and also play on the interior, teams would utilize cut actions to allow that big to get them the ball, cutting to the basket, or various ways of getting their shooters open while the ball was in the post, waiting for the center or the big man to throw it out to them for their open looks. And his game is similar to a lot of the bigs and centers of yesteryear who played that style of play. And he's a very unselfish passer, which is even more of a good thing. Now, he's very reliable on short roll, and he's a great decision maker. Reliable short roll player, I should say. Does a good job of reading double teams, which is always a great thing. But as I mentioned before, as it pertains to his defense, how he moves people off the block, another great attribute that he possesses is his strength. A high motor physical player who thrives off contact. He is more of a below the rim player as opposed to a sky high jump athlete. He overcomes his height shortcomings with grit, intensity, and toughness. He boxes out with fierce ambition. He's a force in the paint. He crashes the board hard, which led to his 8.3 rebounds, 6 of which of those were from the defensive side, and 2 of those were on the offensive end, offensive rebounds. Excellent screener with great timing. He seals and rolls effectively. He punishes defenders on hard screens. That's definitely something that we're missing on the Bulls and in the league in general. But another area that he thrives in is also inside scoring. He's a nice scorer in and around the paint from mid-range, effective in the mid-post, while also on short corners on the court. He uses touch, footwork and strength to isolate and finish around and through defenders. Solid face-up game, able to put the ball on the floor and drive by slower defenders. He's an efficient inside scorer, excellent finisher in transition. Now, while he does have some great strengths, there are some areas of his game that definitely need to improve. And in today's NBA, outside shooting from even your bigs is a must. He lacks consistent shooting touch, hence the fact that he shot 26% from three-point range. And while 70% from the free throw line is okay, it definitely is something that can be improved upon. Currently, he's not a perimeter spacer. His range pretty much extends out to about 17 feet. Limited offensive diversity from three-point range and pull-up jumpers. Those attributes are not very popular in his game. His offensive game at this present time is more of a bully ball style of play. He struggles to create in space and is still developing a consistent jumper. Now, he will need to diversify his offensive skill set and improve his athleticism and scoring efficiency. Otherwise, he may be limited at the NBA level. Now, while he does have a lot of things great from the inside, there's still an area that I know we live in a small ball world, but still being an undersized big or post player can have its advantages. And they obviously, I don't know if he can improve on his size. I don't know if he's reached the max of his growth spurt or if he's going to have another one in life. Who knows that? But he is an undersized big at 6'7". He lacks explosiveness and lateral quickness, two things that can be utilized to make up for his lack of size. Now, he may struggle to finish over players with length or defend quicker players. And like I said earlier, it may be better off if he's guarding fours and undersized fives as his career moves forward at the NBA level. Now, other areas that he can also improve upon would be turnovers. He can be turnover prone, as he did average 2.4 turnovers per game. That usually occurred against athletic defenders or when he was initiating the offense. Now, moving on to what his role may project as at the next level, it's pretty much several projections. There are those who feel he'll be a rotational big, possibly a starter, and there's also those who feel that if he is able to improve upon the areas that he needs to improve on and continue to master the things that he already has as strengths in his game, he could even develop into a future all-star. Now, like most times when the draft roll around, we get into player comparisons, and there are a few players that are also on his short list that many people say he reminds them of. One, for instance, would be Julius Randle, and that probably has to do a lot with the physicality, his strong interior scoring and passing skills, while some folks even see him as Draymond Green light, pretty much based off the defensive versatility that he has, his aggressiveness, and his impact on both ends of the court. And also, for those of you who are looking for a throwback style player, because he does have that throwback style game, some folks even say he puts them in the mind of a Paul Millsap, who's based on his potential to be a solid all-around player with rebounding, defense, and inside scoring as a focus. Now, the main reason why we're here. How would Collin Murray-Boyles fit as a Chicago Bull if he were to be drafted by the Bulls? Well, let me tell you. First of all, the Bulls ranked 28 in points allowed defensively. Now, adding CMB to the Bulls, they'll be adding a defensive player with tenacity and impact that could help improve on the poorest defensive unit in the NBA, right? Rebounding. Now, he's a very good rebounder, especially on the offensive end, and we all know there's been too many times in Bullsville, if you will, where we have struggled to get offensive boards. So adding someone who's hungry for that ball and do everything to go get it would be an added plus. Passing. He's a smart passer. He can find open players and contribute in pick and roll situations. He's excellent at finishing at the rim and slashing. He complements playmakers such as Kobe White and Josh Giddey, my goodness. And of course, his physical presence. He'll provide a physical presence that the Bulls have lacked over the years. In our final overview, he's an intriguing prospect who could be a valuable addition to the Bulls. In the event he develops his offensive skills and continues to improve versatility on the defensive ends, his strength aligns well with what the Bulls need for a physical defender. Well, there you have it, Bulls Nation. Our first episode of this year's edition of the Draft Fit for the Bulls series. Now, y'all let me know how y'all feel about CMB in the comments, or do y'all feel like there's somebody else that may be even better fit for the Bulls? Go ahead and leave your comments down below. And thank you again for tuning in to the first episode of the relaunch of the Perimeter Defense Basketball Podcast with your host, Queen Chill Mode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you as always. Please, 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 till next time, y'all be blessed.